giving my card to people who have just come into the country and bring them in expressly for the purpose of voting a government is criminal, because we have about 300,000 people born in Malaysia, born to Malaysian parents who have been here for generations, and they're stateless, practically stateless, because they can't get their identity card. They're just with a red IC. So, these are legitimate people, Malaysians, but they don't get an IC even after how long. Whereas these other foreigners are just brought in and they're given instant my card. They just.
How many of them do you know?
Well, from reports that we hear, it's more than up to 2 million.
2 million dubious voters,
yes,
including the ones who are
workers.
given ICs and without ICs.
Yes. This is one of the crimes. So clearly, BN needs to go. That's why.
What can an ordinary voter do about this? I mean, how can they help?
Yeah, like I said earlier, you can go on to the website. It's www.anythingbutamno.com, and there are flyers there that give instructions on what you can do. All right, so specifically on polling day, you can make sure you go early, very early. Polling station, the polling begins at 8, so you should be there well before then, because otherwise there'll be a lot of people. Bring enough food and drink and be in a festive mood, After all, polling day is once in 5 years, so enjoy it, celebrate it. But at the same time, you need to do some work. While you're waiting for your turn to go and cast your vote, and after you have cast your vote, hang around, don't go back, because you have a very important job. Your job is to help us identify phantom voters and those who are non-legitimate voters. Well, you can tell, if they're foreigners, put yourself in their situation. Nick, if you were a foreigner, flown in specially from whichever country, you wouldn't even remember your address, would you?
You mean address in Malaysia?
Yeah. Right? If you're just here, say, for the past 2 months or so, you might not even remember that. And you won't know how to speak Bahasa. You won't know how to speak English, probably. And definitely you wouldn't know how to sing Negaraku, right?
So you're going to ask people to sing Negaraku?
Obviously, yeah. But we'll do it in a very friendly way, just like I'm approaching a stranger and trying to make friends with him. So I'd say, hi, you're new here, what's your name? And that person might not even understand what I'm saying. So that already gives you a clue. What's wrong with this guy? He can't speak English, can't understand simple Malay, like, apa nama awak?
Or Malaysian
apa khabar?
food like nasi lemak.
Yeah, that's another thing. But the minute you ask the person apa khabar and the person doesn't know how to respond, you can tell he's not really Malaysian, right? Because I think even those who haven't been to school, they know how to respond to apa khabar.
Okay, so if let's say an ordinary voter has identified a suspicious person who might be a phantom voter, what's next?
Once you're very convinced that this person is one of those who are brought in specially to vote BN, you have to wipe that smile off your face and be very stern now and say, look, saya tahu you bukan orang Malaysia. You tak boleh mengundi. Balik. Balik. I think that's the only thing you can say. Don't use violence. All right? Be polite, and if you're sure he's not a legitimate Malaysian, you have to not let him vote. You have to prevent him from voting.
But I think we have to stress to our viewers though, because according to the SPR, anyone who has a identity card, which is the IC, they cannot be stopped from voting, or else the ones who stopped them would commit a crime.
Who has committed the first crime?
Yeah. Okay, but we
are doing this. Yes, we are doing this for the sake of our country. We do not want our country to go to foreigners. It's ours. So we're just advising them. We're not using force to stop them. We're advising them, look, you're not a Malaysian. You're not really a Malaysian. Please don't ruin our country. And we persuade them to go. And they should know, deep in their hearts, they know they're not. It's not their job to vote. They're being paid to do it. All right. So if they have any conscience at all, they should go home.
I think it would be like quite intimidating if, let's say, there's so many Malaysians looking at you and asking you questions.
Definitely.
Even they don't stop you from voting, you will be scared. If I'm the one who's bringing phantom voters in, or I am the phantom voter, I'll be scared, I guess.
Yeah, if you're surrounded by a whole bunch of Malaysians telling you, hey, we know you're not Malaysian, you'll be peeing in your pants, won't you?
Okay, so what else can the voters do? What if, let's say, that phantom voter doesn't want to back off and wants to continue to go and vote? Can they report to?
I would think that's the only other thing to do. Report, make a police report that this person doesn't seem to be a legitimate Malaysian. He seems to be a phantom voter, and file a police report and take a photograph of that person and
Video
post
or
it.
photograph.
Post it.
Send to
Yes.
myDurianTV@gmail.com.
And let's see whether people will call in and say, hey, that's my saudara. Okay, if it's a saudara, sorry, we apologize. But strange that you can't even sing Negara Ku.
Okay. We are compiling a list of suspected phantom voters, and we'll put it in our documentary. So let's say if you manage to capture any suspicious person on the polling day, please send it to myDurianTV@gmail.com.
Okay, the other thing that I said we do is we have this squad tahan I mentioned. These are specially trained people from ABU who will try to prevent these non-legitimate Malaysians from voting. Yeah.
Okay, can you tell us more about squad tahan? It sounds interesting.
I'm afraid I can't reveal too much at the moment, but they are being formed even as we speak. Squads are being formed all over Malaysia. So the one thing I can tell you is that we do not advocate violence. No violence.
Okay, that's good. What other things that a voter can do?
I think that was about it.
Any last advice?
Yes, please go out. Wake up early on polling day, Sunday. Just one day in 5 years, wake up early for once on Sunday. Go out to vote early. Why? Why do you have to go early? Because you don't want phantom voters to vote in your place. You might, if you go later, you might just discover that somebody has used your vote, has used your name. All right, so go early. It's a very precious vote. It counts for the future of Malaysia. And don't go home after voting. Hang around. That's why I say bring a lot of food.
Bring your phone also.
Yes.
Bring your phone, bring your camera.
Yes. And be active. Make friends, people that you never spoke to in your neighbourhood. That's a good time to make friends. And work together as Malaysians. We need to stick together, okay? We really need to stick together and win back our country for ourselves.
Thank you, Dr. Lee Kin Seong, for coming up and giving us advice.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You are watching My Durian TV.
Rasa sayang, hey rasa sayang, sayang hey, hey lihat negara kita sayang, sayang.